Hey guys, College Predictor here. This is going to be my semifinal college football playoff predictions. I'll be predicting semifinal game, my national championship prediction, and who I think is going to win it. Let's start off with Washington and Texas. The number 3 Texas has one loss in the Red River Showdown against Oklahoma, who's currently ranked 12th. Just recently lost to the Arizona Wildcats in the Alamo Bowl. Washington's undefeated. They have beat Oregon twice, so that is a really good year for Washington. Their passing game is one of the best in the country, with their wide receivers Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk, and Rome Odunze, with Michael Penix throwing them the football. Also, Jack Westover, the tight end, he's been the safety valve if those deep shots haven't been there for Michael Penix. But running back Dillon Johnson has been the most underrated player on the Huskies team since all the passing game gets the love. Dillon Johnson has had a very productive year. I mean, he's gotten touchdowns. He's gotten big first downs that they needed. Yes, he hasn't been a Cody Schrader or a Blake Corum, but he's been solid with 14 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. I mean, you can't discredit that. Jalen Polk, 1,000 yards on the dot, 8 touchdowns. Rome Odunze, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. McMillan being injured most of the year, still managing to get 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Westover, 332 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's been a very reliable player for the Washington offense. Texas, they have Quinn Ewers. He's been a shaky quarterback the last few years, and this year he's been solid the whole year. He has great weapons to throw to as well, and Ja'Tavion Sanders, one of the best tight ends in the country. Xavier Worthy, one of the best, if not the best receiver in the country. Also, Jordan Whittington and Donnie Mitchell, very solid second and third options for Quinn Ewers. Now, their number 1 running back, Jonathan Brooks, will not be playing in this game due to an injury. And they're going to use backup C.J. Baxter and Kaleon Robinson. Mind you, Texas, they beat Alabama before, so they could beat anyone. Texas has one of the fastest teams in the nation. They have one of the best offenses in the nation on average points per game. And they've had key wins against Kansas, Oklahoma State, and Alabama. Washington's key wins have been at USC, at Arizona, versus Oregon twice. Washington's all-time bowl record is 19 and 20 and 1. So 1 tie, 20 losses, 19 wins. Texas's all-time is 31, 25 and 2, with their most memorable win being that national championship 05, Vince Young against the USC Trojans in the Rose Bowl. This game's going to be almost a home game for Texas. It's in Louisiana, and all that southern stuff, all those fans from Texas are going to be showing up. I bet you Washington fans make the trip, though, since it's one of their first times in the playoffs. Not their real first, but their first time where they actually have a chance. This game should be great. I think even though it's the 3-2 matchup, it's not going to be as good as Bama, Michigan. I still think it's going to be a great game. And the keys to this game, Washington needs to take chances. Michael Penix has been doing it all year. And now that he plays a really good Southern football defense, he cannot be continually scared to throw the ball deep. Yes, if it's not there, take your check down. If it's not there, you could scramble a little bit. But if it's there and you think you could get it in that window, take a shot. You're not going to beat Texas if you don't take chances. For Texas, you need to utilize your speed. Run jet sweeps, run halfback tosses, run little slants, get your best players in space, and they're going to win on those one-on-ones. Whether it's a truck, stick, or a good move, Texas will win those one-on-ones. Passing attack is going to be huge for these teams. They both have great quarterbacks, great wide receivers. The running game is going to be quiet in this game, but the running game could be the difference in who wins since they're worried about covering receivers. This should be a great game. Texas is a 4-point favorite. These teams, by the way, played last year in the Alamo Bowl, and Washington won 27-20. Texas wants revenge. 4-point favorite. Give me the Longhorns to win by 7. And the other semifinal game, Michigan and Alabama. Boy, this is going to be a treat to see Michigan and Bama, 2 of the best college football teams of all time, play in the most prestigious game in college football, the Rose Bowl. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Besides the fact that it should be Michigan, Florida State. But because it's Bama, it's probably going to be a better game. Let's talk about Jalen Milroe first. The first couple weeks of the year against Texas and South Florida, he's been a shaky quarterback. They've had to use their backup quarterbacks. Tyler Bucker, he hasn't been good. The game against Ole Miss is where Jalen Milroe kind of came back to life. And ever since then, he has been an incredible quarterback on the ground and through the air. His most reliable receiver has been Jermaine Burton and Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond making the 4th and 31 miracle catch in the Iron Bowl. And Jermaine Burton leading the team in yards and touchdowns with 8 touchdowns and 777 yards. Those have been the only 2 targets really for him. I mean, obviously tight end and all the other receivers, the running backs have been great for them. But those 2 players is going to be the ones being doubled. That's the problem with Alabama. That's why they lost to Texas. Not having other weapons to throw to and not realizing that you could trust them. A lot of times in the Texas game, Milroe tried to force the ball into Isaiah Bond or Jermaine Burton, and it didn't end up working. Texas got interceptions off those, 4th down stops off those. That's what won Texas the game. I think this is a great opportunity for Michigan to win the national championship, since after this, McCarthy probably will be gone, Corum will be gone, Roman Wilson will be gone, Mike Sanderson will be gone, Zach Zinner will be gone. All their best wide receivers, all their best offensive linemen, they're leaving after this year. So this is Michigan's one chance to win a national championship, and they have to take advantage. The Michigan defense and the Michigan offensive line, they're better than you at the line of scrimmage. They're more physical, and that's why Blake Corum has so many 1-yard touchdowns, 2-yard touchdowns. Also, running back Donovan Edwards has been a good addition through the air. However, Michigan, this is one of their first tests outside of the Big Ten. We know they beat Penn State on the road where they ran the ball 34 times, if you count the kneel downs, in the second half. And Ohio State where Blake Corum took over and the defense locked up. Bama has key wins against Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, and Tennessee. All of those teams are ranked. So Bama has more experience and better wins against better teams, but Michigan has looked the best all year. This game is going to be a treat between a Big Ten and an SEC team, and it's going to come down to who doesn't turn the ball over. Both these quarterbacks are good, but not blowing up stat crazy. None of them were in the Heisman race. They've just been good enough to get their teams to this point. Michigan's 21-29 all-time in bowls. Bama is 46-27-3 all-time in bowls. Last year, Alabama won the Sugar Bowl against Kansas State in a blowout margin. And last year, Michigan lost to TCU in the semifinals, Fiesta Bowl. Michigan is 0-6 in their last 6 bowl games, the second longest losing streak in postseason games, only behind the West Virginia Mountaineers. And Bama is 6-2 as an outright underdog under Nick Saban. This game should be great. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Michigan is a 2-point favorite. This game could go either way, but I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines to win by a last-second field goal. Final score is going to be 27-24. And now we go to my championship game prediction between the Michigan Wolverines and the Texas Longhorns. Speed versus strength. It doesn't get better than that. That's the best way to describe these teams if they play each other. Like I said when I picked Washington, Texas, if they play Michigan, they have to use the outside, use the sideline, use their team's speed to get points, just like they did in the last couple years against Oklahoma. Michigan, they need to run the ball, establish the run game. Since Texas' D-line is good, but they're not NFL prospect good. They don't have anyone that stands out. McCarthy, his first championship game that isn't the Big Ten, this would be a real test for him, as well as Quinn Ewers. But more so, this game would be big for the future of these programs. Texas is going to the SEC next year. Last year as a Big 12 member. Last year for the Big 12 to get a national championship, which they don't have one since the college football playoff era. Michigan, losing all their players after this. They're going to need a new quarterback. They need to win now and now only. Texas, they're going to have a lot of harder schedule next year, having to play Bama, Oklahoma, LSU, Texas A&M. This is their one chance to win a national championship with the easiest path possible. if these two teams play, it's going to be Mike Sanderstill, Xavier Worthy one-on-one. Who will win that matchup? That's where the points, that's where the turnovers are going to go. Michigan's Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, they're going to run a lot of split back in that game if they do. Michigan's going to have to run the ball, take up clock. I think if these two teams play, which will be a national championship, Texas is going to win by 7. And there's no game line yet because we don't know the national championship yet. But my prediction is Texas, 7-point win over Michigan, low scoring, Texas national championships the year before they go to the SEC. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I will be picking the smaller bowl games still, such as the ReliaQuest Bowl and the Barstool Bowl. But until then, see you later.